Let's go ahead and move on to my sleeper offense to own in fantasy football. I've been hyping up this offense for a while now this offseason. It is the New York Giants. There are just too many pieces to own in this offense to not look their way. And it all starts with the quarterback position. Daniel Jones is a fantastic sleeper option in fantasy football this season. His upside is absolutely through the roof. People don't realize that last season, as a rookie, he was on pace. He only started 12 games, but he was on pace for 4,000 passing yards and 32 touchdowns. That is insane. And people act like, we all do give him credit for the couple of big games he had, but people act like he's still mediocre. And I don't understand why. I do understand it because I love Kyler Murray as well, but like Kyler's getting all this hype and no one is talking about Daniel Jones. I feel like Drew Lock is getting talked about more than Daniel Jones, and he had a better season with a bigger sample size. And you look at 2020, he has a much better supporting cast around him. New head coach Joe Judge is in town, and he's got Saquon Barkley back and healthy. He's got Evan Engram back and healthy. Golden Tate, Sterling Shepard, and Darius Slayton are all back and healthy. That is an incredible core for the New York Giants. And with Daniel Jones at quarterback, I think all of those guys are elevated. And if they can stay healthy in 2020, I really think this Giants team, hot take incoming, could make a run at the playoffs. Wow. If you look at last season, we saw Daniel Jones perform so well as a rookie. And listen to this, Barkley missed 2 games. Sterling Shepard missed 6 games. Evan Engram missed 8 games. Golden Tate missed 5 games. And Darius Slayton missed 2 games. Literally all of their playmakers missed time. And yes, given how injury prone those players apparently are, there is a decent chance they miss time in 2020. But if the perfect storm happens for the Giants and they can stay healthy, I really think they could make a run at the playoffs. They were 23rd in total yards per game in 2019, which isn't great by any means, but there's just so many young pieces in this offense. We know Saquon Barkley is a top 2, if not top 1 running back in the NFL. They improved the O-line this offseason. They drafted an offensive tackle at 4 overall, another offensive tackle in the 3rd round, and then a guard in the 5th round. So they're really retooling that offensive line to protect their young quarterback. So this Giants team is going to surprise people. Barkley, as I just said, shoe-in RB1. And at the receiver position, Golden Tate, Darius Slayton, and Sterling Shepard are all going to have their weeks where they're in your fantasy lineup and they produce for you. Yes, they might not be quite as consistent as, some of those wide receiver 2s that we're talking about, like Calvin Ridley, but I think Darius Slayton, Golden Tate, and Sterling Shepard are all streamable guys, and they're all going to have pretty solid seasons. So, Steph, I'm going to kick it back over to you. Out of those 3 Giants receivers, I think they're all really close. Which one would you rather have for 2020?
To me, it's actually, this might be a hot take to some. It's not Darius Slayton. I know he's a hot fantasy name right now. There's too much volatility with him. I need to see a little bit more. So for me, it's actually Sterling Shepard. And I'll put a graphic on the screen right now from Dan Morrison, good friend of the show. Last year when all 3 wide receivers were on the field, you got to remember Golden Tate missed 4 games last year at the beginning of the season. Shepard was in and out with concussion issues, and Evan Engram was in and out too, missed a lot of the season. But when everybody was on the field, Shepard was the alpha. He was getting targeted more than those other guys on a consistent basis. So I think there's rapport they're building with Daniel Jones and Sterling Shepard. Would just love to see a level of consistency, but I am willing to take that shot. I think Shepard could finish, if he's healthy, which, that's a big if. I feel like he could be, a concussion or 2 away from retiring. Yep. I hope everything goes well for him from a health standpoint for sure. But I like Shepard a lot. I think he is the one in this offense. Just the question is, how much value does the one really mean on the Giants where there's tons of volume to go around? It kind of feels like it's going to be spread evenly. So maybe it's matchup dependent, maybe it's not. But I would go Sterling Shepard as of right now.
Wow. Yeah, that's surprising. I think I would take Darius Slayton just for some of that upside. He's still young. He's still fresh. I think Daniel Jones is going to love slinging the ball down the field to him. And like you said, there is a lot of volume to go around in this offense, and Daniel Jones is going to be able to provide that for all of these weapons. He was a top 2 fantasy quarterback last season in 33% of his starts. He started 12 games, and he finished as a top 2 fantasy quarterback 4 times. So we've seen the upside. The question is, can he string it together for most or all of a season? And I'm huge on Daniel Jones this year. Between now and the regular season, during draft season, you are going to hear me hyping him up as my late round quarterback to target, as a high upside play, and as a guy who I think is a sleeper candidate for MVP this year. I'm going to keep saying it every single time. So this New York Giants offense, be sure to invest in them in 2020.
I love it. I don't think Daniel Jones gets enough respect for what he's been doing on the ground either. But we'll talk a lot more about Daniel Jones over the next couple of months here leading into draft season.